Yo, hey yo, I been in the trenches, seen dudes fall in the trenches, seen blood spill in the ditches. Hey, what up with y'all? This your boy James Parker, back with Truth in the Trenches, and we have another guest today. Introduce yourself.
Liana,
thanks for coming.
thank you for having me.
Now with this episode, I'm excited about it because if you don't know, I've been working in the mental health field for, I'm old, maybe 14, 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Working with, mainly with kids. Kids will get put into foster placement in group homes. And she's willing to share a story of her experience in her time, you know, in the foster system. And as you can see, she's a strong, independent woman. So she's one of the kids who actually made it out and is successful.
Thank you.
So I want to first appreciate that piece. Like I say, seeing so many kids in the system, it's hard for them to get on their feet when they leave out of it. So I'm going to start it off. Truth in the trenches, so we go deep. Life before the system.
Life before the system was in Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh, little town in Kansas.
Yeah. Literally right across the street from KU, from Kansas City University. Yeah, Lawrence, Kansas City University.
Okay, cool. So Lawrence, Kansas, right across from KU. Mm-hmm. How was living?
It was good and great and lovely until it wasn't. I am the firstborn of three. My mom and dad were married March 2nd, 1991. Mm-hmm. And my mom met my dad in Germany when she would do one-woman shows called Images.
What's Images?
Images is a one-woman show, and it was her thesis. And she would reenact Harriet Tubman, Langston Hughes, profound Black people from our history. She would travel all over different countries and different cities to perform.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
That had to be tough because everybody don't appreciate our history, you know?
No, they don't. But on the flip side, I get messages till this day for the ones that do appreciate and are grateful for what she did.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
And I don't know her, I appreciate that. So, you know, in today's world, they're trying to do away with our history.
Yes, they are.
And we need people to, you know, remind the youth and people where we came from.
Absolutely.
So we don't accidentally end up there again.
Absolutely, because it will repeat itself.
Yeah. So you said life was good till it wasn't.
Yes. So. My mom started drinking heavily. And my dad was verbally and physically and mentally abusive. And police would get called. And when we were living in Kansas, we were taken away and put in foster homes in Kansas. Mm-hmm. And when I got to a certain age, I was separated from my brother and sister and put in group homes. Okay. And that was in Kansas.
So your mom started drinking heavily?
After my dad was abusive, yes.
Okay, so with the drinking and your dad being abusive, which, sorry that happened.
Thank you.
Just knowing the system, what was the straw that made them pull you guys out? And also, like, I can only imagine the trauma your mom had to dealing with that. But what was it like for you and siblings?
Correct. Myself and my brother and sister. It was hard because, as you can see, I am mixed.
Yeah.
So my dad is German, and my mom, I'm not going to get into everything she is because I don't want to hear it from everybody but I will get into that eventually. But yes, I'm mixed, and I am half German, so my dad is white. And then when the neighbors would call the police because we lived in a condo, it was confusing to me why my mom was being taken to jail.
Oh, okay.
It was very confusing. I don't know why.
Yeah, she was being taken.
She was being taken, and then for whatever reason, we weren't with our dad. We were put in group homes. We were put in foster care, and I was put in group homes, so we were separated. And then that's when there was like supervised visits, and she was going to parenting classes, as was my dad. And then we were sent to go visit family.
Okay, so going back a little bit, I say this. I like this one because, like I said, I work in a system, and I may be wrong. It sounds like y'all was put out more because of the issues between them two.
Correct.
Okay, because a lot of the kids that I worked with, of course, it's the parents' issue, but a lot of them end up dealing with like physical trauma. A lot of stuff happens to them as well.
So that's later in the story.
Oh, okay.
When it's who
slow down.
When it's who you don't, the ones that say they will never do you like that.
Okay, so your parents are going through what they're going through.
Correct.
Your mom is in jail and stuff, but you don't really know the reason. You just know she's being taken. And then y'all get pulled out. So was it group homes first, or?
It was foster care it was foster homes. And they were mean in Kansas. I'm not saying that everywhere is the same because I have my story for California.
Yeah.
But in Kansas, we were in like they call the rural areas. Mm-hmm. So there would be like one house, and then it would be miles to where you see another house. And then the social worker would drop us off. And right when the social worker left, we were in the front yard cutting up their wood. If we said anything that they didn't like, they would put soap in our mouth. If there were disagreements between their biological kids and ourselves, it was kind of, they would turn the blind eye and let them bully us.
Yeah.
It was mentally exhausting because we didn't know what we did wrong.
Yeah. That sucks. Even me being, a foster parent myself, I know there's a lot of them out there who's not in it for the right reason.
They're not.
A lot of them, honestly, they're in it for a check.
Yep.
And if they have siblings, I've noticed it's always been a big issue because they're always, not all of them, but they're going to put their kids first.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like, just be happy that we brung you in.
Exactly. And
accept whatever we tell you to. So, yeah, I was chopping. Man, it sounded like I was in slavery.
And that's what, it was confusing because we're being taken away from our home. We know we want to go back home. We're just waiting for them to pick us up, and we're being put with strangers. And as kids, as children, what did we do wrong? Why don't you like us?
Yeah.
And all the social workers are doing is giving them a call. Probably a name isn't even involved. They're just letting them know that they have kids that need to be placed. And that same information that the social worker has, that's what they're handing over to these foster parents. So if they don't have the heart to be able to accept these kids, that social worker had just given them all the ammunition they need to keep us in that same traumatic loop.
Yeah. So they're giving the information. When they was giving the information, was there an explanation of the reasoning that y'all need foster parents, or was it just these are some kids who need somewhere to stay?
I don't know the details from like in Kansas as far as what was shared, like what was going on. Excuse me. But I do know it was the extent of domestic violence in the home.
Okay.
And these kids need to be placed until the parents are able to gain custody back. I don't know the details of it. That's where the other part of the story how we ended up in California.
Okay. So it just gave, from what you know, just the information of domestic violence, and that's it.
Correct. I don't know the details of what else was said.
Okay. And I only ask that because I know at times when they're trying to, at least since I've been working, in the field, when they're trying to place a kid, sometimes they'll give you all the information if they feel like it's going to be beneficial for you to want to take this kid. Like, this kid is a good child, just a bad,
Exactly. And that's kind of, because that was the first time we were taken from the home, was in Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh, okay. And when you was at that, I'm gonna call it the foster plantation.
That's what it is. Yes, I feel like that's a great analogy.
With all that going on, was it you and your siblings? Was y'all split up, or was y'all in the same?
Sometimes it would just be my sister and I, and sometimes our brother would be separated. And then because I was older and they're younger, they would be together, and then I would be separated. And that's why I was put in the group home once upon a time, separated from them because I was older.
Okay. But at the foster plantation.
Yes, we were all there.
Y'all?
Yes.
Okay. Now how did y'all cope with the way y'all was being treated? Like, how did y'all?
We talked to each other because we only had each other, just as we only have each other now. We had to talk to each other because we were all confused.
Yeah.
We didn't know why they were doing what they were doing, but we did the best that we could with the information that we had. And we didn't have any resources because nobody gave us that sit down conversation saying, hey, this is what's going on. We didn't know, like, our personal belongings are in a black garbage bag.
Yeah. And it's crazy because people out there, they'll be hearing it, but they don't. I think someone don't understand. It's really a plastic.
It really is a black plastic bag.
Have they stuff with?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how you were the oldest, right?
Yes.
Like, how did you deal with that, being the oldest sibling in this terrible situation and having your sibling looking towards you when you don't even have information and know what's going on?
I felt that I was always doing something wrong, because why don't I have the answers? Why can't I give them, my brother and sister, an answer? And I don't know. And then I'm the oldest. So I'm constantly wondering what it is I'm doing wrong. Yeah. Because I can't answer the question for myself. So if I can't answer the question for myself, how can I help my siblings? How can I talk to them about it?
Sure. And how old were you at this time?
In that time, I had to be about 7, 8. So then they were probably 6. Yeah, we were younger.
That sucks. 8 years old and feeling like you're doing something wrong because the parents have their struggles and they just uplifted y'all, threw y'all over here, and basically said, wait for your mom to be ready.
Just wait. We're waiting for a phone call. We're waiting for a phone call from another stranger, which is a social worker we just met when they drove us and put us in the home. So we're just waiting. And the foster parents aren't going to be communicative or want to update us on what's going on. So we just have to wait.
And that's crazy. Like, I work with kids who, as soon as I worked with them more in the group homes. Mm-hmm. And they always tell the story how they work or don't care, they don't answer. Mm-hmm. And that's a real thing.
It is a real thing. And that's the abandonment we're already dealing with. It has to do with the people that brought us into this world. And now these people that have signed up to take on a job that the unimaginable, people could only imagine their children going through or could imagine their family going through. Yeah. And these people don't have the tools or resources or even the emotional awareness to be able to hold space for these kids that are literally having their life turned upside down. They're faulting them and they don't even know it.
True. And that sucks. Mm-hmm. Because to some, it's really a job.
Absolutely.
It's just, I have this kid, I have to place this kid, I have to make contact before this time, and that's it. And not really recognizing that this is in y'all case, these are babies who don't know what's going on and have to figure everything out. Mm-hmm. So, man, that sucks. So, y'all eventually leave the foster plantation?
Eventually in Kansas, from the group homes. And then like with the group homes, for me, it was scary because I had to put all my personal belongings in bins. Like everything I had to, my pajamas is all with everybody else's, all my toys, all my shirts, all my pants, everything's together. So then when we leave Kansas, we're told that we're just going to visit family. Mm-hmm. And a visit turned it into us living, and social workers coming to the school to ask us why we're hungry or why we're dirty, and we're living with family.
Okay, hold on. I might have missed something. Mm-hmm. So from the foster placement, it went to the group home.
I went to the group home, and my brother and sister was still in foster care, and that was in Kansas.
Oh, okay. They stayed at that house?
No, they were just in a different foster home because they were younger. So they were able to stay together, and then I was in the group home separate from them. And then,
so that's where they start splitting y'all up.
Mm-hmm. And then we were together when we went from Kansas to San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, the group home was in Kansas.
Correct.
Okay, so they go to another foster placement in Kansas. You go to the group home. Okay. How was it? How was your time in the group home? And I'm curious because, like I said, I've worked in them, and I know good staff. I know terrible staff. I know a lot of times there's a lot of funding, but it's a business and they don't want to have everything go towards the kids. So how was your experience in there?
I can vividly remember the little girls were just they were angry, they were mean, and they had us separated. The boys on one side, the girls on the other side.
All in one house?
It was like a building. It wasn't a house.
Oh,
it was like a facility.
Okay, I thought you
Like
said.
all of our clothes came in on like these big bins with wheels on them. We ate in a big room together, and the school was there.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so the school was there, and then we were all separated into our classes. And the first day, they bring me into the room, and I remember having my glass sand art where the colors are layered, and they took that from me. They said that was a weapon, and I couldn't have that.
The what?
It was a weapon. My glass art that had the sand
yeah.
in it. They said it was a weapon. I couldn't have it in there. I'm like, a weapon? Like I was like, what is?
I used to do a little training then. That was always the big question is if a kid comes in and they have, I think we used a picture of a family member, a mom or something, but it was in a glass frame. And they can't have glass because it can be weapons or it can be, they can hurt themselves. And
so that was a whole other thing that I had to wrap my head around is there's more violence that is going to be happening here. And I didn't know that's what was going on.
well, at that moment, you knew this is.
I was like, this is something else. This is another set of violence. This is another group of trauma that these people are just placing me in. And again, they're just telling me what I can't have.
And at this time, before we go forward, about 8 at the foster home. So how old are you about?
So the group home, I had to be around 9, probably
Okay.
around 9. So just like a year later,
You a baby.
probably 9 or 10. Excuse me.
Okay, so you get there. As soon as they take this, they say it can be a weapon. It's like, you're young, but you're old enough. You know this is something. This is gonna be a little journey.
Absolutely. This is going to be something that I had no idea because nobody's telling me.
Yeah.
They're just driving me and they're dropping me off and taking.
So the whole time you're moving around, it's just, you're going here now.
This is where you're going.
No preparation, no.
Just waiting. Like they pick you up and then they put you in the holding area, like the place, and we might sit there for hours. They might bring us a snack, the juice and the graham crackers.
Yep.
And we just sit there and wait with our black garbage bag of all of our personal belongings.
Yeah. And it sucks because I know it. Like I know it from the inside when they come in, but like I said, I don't know how I can have a long drive and don't tell the kid nothing.
Nothing. After like everything that they could have went through.
Yeah.
When you just pick them up. The beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. So now you realize this might be a dangerous place. So now what?
They take it. They take all my clothes and they let me know I can separate them into the bins. And I'm like, what do you mean separate them into the bins? These are my clothes. No, you don't have clothes. Everything is shared here in the group home.
Oh, see, I've heard kids say that.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
So now your stuff is
everybody's stuff. So then when you leave this group home,
It's the
you leave
community.
with nothing. You don't get to have anything when you leave. You have nothing.
man, this place still open?
I don't know. I wouldn't know the name of it. I don't even know how to access these files. I don't even know the name of the foster care agency in Kansas. I know the hospital I was born in. I know what elementary school I went to. I still talk to my second grade teacher from Kansas. They remember my mom. They remember us. But these other things that were going on, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. That one, all these years, that one is a shocker. Like, it's no longer yours. This is everybody's. So.
And our mom would write our initials in our clothes. Oh. So then I knew it was mine.
Yeah. And you got to see another kid wearing
got
it.
Another kid wearing it. Even down to the underclothes. And that's huge to even think now, just being older, being an adult. I couldn't imagine having my kids just put their stuff together, their underclothes.
Yeah.
Why would strangers want to do that?
Seriously.
Kids' underclothes.
Yeah, that's
on top of our toys.
Different.
So when we leave, we actually leave with nothing after we just lost a lot, whatever happened.
Your kids are already in the time losing their parents.
Exactly.
And then they go somewhere and in your case, extra trauma being put on place because they treated y'all like work slaves in the house. And this whole time, nobody's telling you nothing. So like I say, every time you move, you're losing something. Exactly. Whether it's materials or you feel like a piece of who you are.
Yep.
And now you go somewhere where they're literally telling you, this is our property now.
This belongs to us. Like you don't have a say so. Whatever you say doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Your feelings that they have we don't care.
See, I'm scared to ask your experience there now, but I kind of have to because, people curious. I'm curious now. Like, I don't know how long you were there, but what was your experience with the other kids, with the staff?
I don't really remember how long I was there, but I do remember going enough to go to school, to go to classes. I remember sleeping in the room. It was probably like 6 to 8 of us in a room. We each had our own bed.
I do know that part. Usually it's like 6 beds.
But the girls were very mean. So if you went to sleep first, there was a prank being pulled on you. They would go into the bathrooms and they would call on the Sandman and Bloody Mary. They were doing things that were unfathomable, and things were happening that they were playing with fire, literally, and none of the staff knew what was going on.
Playing with fire?
To an extent. I mean, not just with whatever environment they were coming from, they were bringing it there.
Yeah.
So kids were running out of those bathrooms scared, I vividly remember being in there one time and just hearing kids scream and running out and not going back. But kids are constantly in the bathroom. The lights are off and they're saying chants.
Yeah. And
kids are running out and they're screaming. And I don't know what is happening to these kids, but all you hear is screaming.
Yeah. You having all these kids, all their trauma, all their backgrounds, and now they're mixing it up and sharing it.
Exactly. And there's nobody sitting down to talk to us.
I was saying, where the staff at?
Everybody is being talked at. This is the time to eat. This is the time to be in class. This is the time the lights are out. Okay, it's time to get ready for bed. There is no group activities. There is no art projects. There is no feeling circle. I mean, there's none of that going on.
There's no type of therapy or anything to help process.
I couldn't even get to the therapy because we couldn't even color a picture together. Like, none of that was going on. No.
Yeah. Did you have any staff or even any kids you feel you may have connected with during that time?
No.
So this was a bad environment. Okay. Man, that sucks.
Yeah. It sucks because if I'm talking about it now, how many kids are going through it?
Yeah, and
it's a real, like, history, and her story repeats itself because these same people that never have any idea what these kids are going through, even the process. Okay, something's happening. We pick up these kids. Do we have luggage for them to put their personal belongings in? Is the person picking them up? How was their day? Are they even going to be emotionally available to pick up this kid, to talk to them about what's going on?
Yeah.
But just picking them up and it's just silence and nobody's saying anything. Just passing this folder. Just passing the folder. Just passing that folder around.
Yeah. And I guess I've worked with staff who do have the conversations as they're moving and stuff. Even if they don't have a lot of information, trying to prepare them. Because some places is a little more warm and welcoming than others. This conversation is making me have to check myself when I go back to work because, I'm a staff and I like to say I do care about the kids, but there are those times when me personally, I get like a little stressed with everything.
Of course.
And then it started feeling more like a job. And even now, like hearing the story from you, knowing you've been in the system, it's hit different at this moment than the kids who are telling me who's in the system. And that's something I have to check, because if it's not hitting till they're adult, you missed it. So.
And it's also like, thank you for doing what you do, because you're able to hold space and you're actually helping these kids heal a part of their childhood. So then when they do get older and they look back, hey, that guy James, he was able to talk to me. He didn't talk at me. He was able to help me get through this. Yeah. And that's what a lot of kids do not have. They don't have that person that was holding space for them.
Yeah.
Because they don't even know that they need it. Because they've never had it. True. How do they know they need it if they've never experienced that?
Yeah. If you never had it, then you don't know what you're missing.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about, oh, this is wrong. This is the environment. This is wrong. This is what they're doing in school. Okay, so what happened?
Yeah.
What happened there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with the kid. It's learned behavior. We are products of our environment.
Yeah, so before we go further in your story, you can talk to the camera about, because there's people on my page who work with kids.
Okay.
A lot work with the kids. Some say they want to work with kids. You've been there, so you can kind of tell them, what you feel kids actually need.
You have to want to do it because you actually care about the kids. You actually want to make a difference. Excuse me. When you actually care, it's not going to so much feel as a job, but you're serving your purpose. We all have a reason that we're here. And once you really understand that reason, then you're able to hold space for those kids. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be open. It's not easy by far, but you could actually change their whole complete life. We are kids for the shortest amount of time in our lives. And a lot of parents, a lot of our family, a lot of our elders, they don't really understand that they are responsible for our childhood. We don't have any control over our environment when we are kids. And then we get to a certain age where now this behavior, it's inexcusable. We have to take responsibility for our actions. And if you're working with these kids, you can actually be that, rock. You can be that resource for them, that one that they were able to talk to when everybody else was judging them for an environment they had no control over, to be labeled and to be told that something is wrong. So if you want to do it, if you want to be there for the kids, if you want to work with the kids, if you want to work with the current foster youth, the ones that are in the system, the ones that don't even know that they're going to be ripped from their family, do it because you care, not because you're going to get a paycheck. Yes, we all need jobs, so we need to make money, but that can't be the only reason that you want to work with the youth that are growing up in environments that are extremely traumatic. You may have never experienced that, but if you're able to hold space, if you went through it and now you want to help the kids, do it, because we need more people that actually care. We need them.
Thank you. And if that ain't the reason, go work somewhere else. Go work at a warehouse.
For
go
sure.
work anywhere else.
For sure. You have to be vulnerable, and kids can smell it when it's BS.
Definitely.
They smell it because they're already dealing with my parents or somebody else that I didn't know. So now they have to get to know their parents again, and they realize they're human, and they may not be these superhumans that they imagine them to be. But they're able to forgive them. And then you can be that pillar in their life, like that person that really shows up and changes everything for them. Because it literally takes one person. Yeah. It takes one person.
Agreed. And like you said, the kids, one thing I learned, they're being able to read people. They're the best at it.
They're the best. They smell it if you're not going to be authentic, if you're not genuine. If you're BSing them, if you're blowing smoke up, like they know. So you need to be honest with yourself, so you can be honest with the kids.
And that's dope you said that. And next time I'm talking to somebody who want to be a staff for a training, I'm gonna tell them, be honest with yourself first.
You have to.
I've never asked them that question.
You
I've
have
worked
to.
with people who and I met with them. They'll say, "I just want to love the kids."
It doesn't. You
I
can't just. Do you love yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you love yourself that much, if you trust yourself that much, then you know that your heart is open to the training, to learn whatever these different tools and ways to talk to them. But it really takes the hand-on experience, because no training will get you ready for actually when you have that first conversation with the kid. What happens when the kid is crying? Mm-hmm. What happened when the kid is not able to speak? Are you able to give them space?
Or what happens when you feel like you're not connecting with that kid?
Exactly.
Do you give up and move on to another, or do you try to figure out what's going on?
They're already dealing with abandonment issues.
Yeah.
And they're already feeling like they're a number. Mm-hmm. They're already feeling like they don't matter. And then on top of everything, they still have to go to school around all the other kids.
Yeah. Who actually feel they know that they matter.
Exactly.
See, I don't.
And the same teachers asking them, who do you live with?
Yeah.
How, like, do you have that conversation? I know one of my favorite foster moms, one of my angels, that was auntie. Yeah. So, you go to the school and we already knew.
Yeah.
I'm auntie. Mm-hmm. The kids will ask because it's just a natural question. Who you live with? Where do you live at?
Yeah.
The beginning of the school year, they're going to ask, like, okay, where are you from? Who do you live with? Like, it's just these questions.
That's just what you do.
It's just what you do. And then when you're a foster kid, that feels like 1,000 bricks of weight on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody to ask you that and you're not prepared.
True. And like I said, I never thought of it that way. I even think of a lot of the kids, the places I've worked, they'll have a car. A regular looking van, and they call it the creeper van or something.
Yep. The one that has no words on it.
And they don't want to be in that one.
No.
So
because it's I'm trying to think of that word, like the spectacle, the outlook. It all matters.
Yeah, true. And they want to look and feel as normal as possible when they can.
Despite the situation they have no control over. So if the stranger is already transporting me, why do I have to be in a creeper van? I'm already in a creepy, where everybody knows that I'm in a creepy situation that I don't know about. Yeah. So then these kids, some of the kids, if the adults are not able to hold space, how can the kids hold space?
Okay, you said that. In a creeper van, in a creepy situation.
We have to be honest. We have to really, really, because we were all kids once upon a time, no matter what. So those same instances where you might be embarrassed because your shirt's not tucked in the right way. You went to go get coffee in the morning. Mm-hmm. And now people are looking at you a certain way. Yeah. Or your pants are not fitting a certain way. This kid was just ripped from their family. Yeah. And now they're in a stranger creeper van with their belongings in a black garbage bag.
Tough.
That's tough. And then the neighbors. Eventually they're going to come back home, hopefully. What about the neighbors?
Yeah, because you really don't know. Okay. Thanks.
Of course.
And so going back a little bit, you had your time at that group home where as soon as you walk in, you don't have nothing.
Nope.
The belongings you had, that black bag is now everybody's bag.
It's everybody's.
So how long was you there?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember what was next?
After that, we did eventually go back home, but then that was after we went back home, that's when our parents let us know we were going to go visit family.
Oh, okay. It looked like that's where a lot of your face says a lot at that.
Yeah, we went to go visit family, and that's when the lies continued because we still went to family reunions down in Alabama.
So I'm sorry. When you say y'all went to visit family, was it? So you say y'all visiting, but did y'all move or?
That was eventually after it was a couple of months. We realized we were going to be living there. We just didn't know how long.
Okay. So, and I don't know if you would know this information, but was it like a court order thing, or was it your parents felt like they weren't capable at that time?
Our parents felt they weren't capable because they decided they were going to start going through the divorce.
Oh, okay. And did they let y'all know that information, or?
They didn't let us know that they were getting the divorce until we were living with the family. Because we were visiting, and then after we were there for a while, we were like, okay, I don't know when we're going to be going back home. And that's when it was, we now knew, because they told us that they were going to be getting the divorce.
Oh, okay. So everywhere y'all go, nobody gave y'all information. It was just kind of, you have to go with the flow of wherever they steer you.
Wherever they steer us.
Okay. And did you go to uncles, aunties?
It was our mom's sister's house in San Francisco. So our aunt and then
That made
her
it to
husband,
Cali.
that's when we made it to California.
Oh, okay. Frisco.
Correct.
Okay. And how was that?
It was traumatic.
Oh, okay.
It was sad. It was frustrating. We didn't know what we did wrong, because going from group homes to foster care, yes, we still would go to family reunions when we were in foster care. So the lie was we weren't in foster care, because my last name is Stallworth, and in the Stallworth family, that's frowned upon. Oh. Why is it frowned upon? Why can't nobody help us? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But the story was that we were living with family. So we were in foster care. We would go to family reunions. We couldn't tell them that we were in foster care. And then when we would go to the family reunions and we were living with our mom's sister, it was that we were visiting. We weren't living there. Because then they would find out that our mom and dad were going through the divorce.
Okay, the typical, don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody. Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, that's when I get another idea about what family means, and what love means.
Yeah.
And the fibbing, because my mom wouldn't say lie. She would always say fibbing. Mm-hmm. Being a fibber, don't fib. So it was just a lot of fibbing going on.
Yeah.
And not knowing when we were going to go back home.
Mm-hmm. Man. Okay. So your mom's sister, and the whole time you're living out here, and it's obvious when you're coming from Kansas, but don't tell nobody. When you go to reunions, you're just visiting. How long can a person say I'm just visiting?
Well, it's going to be learned behavior, so then it becomes natural.
So now you're being taught to not be honest.
Correct. Okay. Because of how it would look.
Yeah.
So then when we would go to school, we couldn't eat school lunch because our aunt and uncle had great jobs. And if we eat school lunch, that's frowned upon because it looks like they don't have the money that they do, but we're hungry.
Yeah.
You're only letting us have a sandwich and a bag of chips for a whole entire school day. When we have cereal in the morning for breakfast, the milk could only cover the bottom of the bowl. We could only take a bath once a week. And when the bath water is going in the bathtub, once the bath water hits the back of the bathtub, that's it. You can't spit your toothpaste in the sink. You have to spit it in the toilet. You're not able to use these bathrooms upstairs anymore. You need to go in the garage. Only one pair of school jeans a whole school year. I had the same pair of shoes almost 2-3 years. They were falling apart.
This is family.
This is family.
Okay. Wow. And was it you and your siblings all came? Okay. So you went from the Kansas plantation to, I don't even know what to call this one.
And this is like the first time I'm ever speaking about it, because you really never know what somebody's family is going through.
Yeah.
I don't really care how shiny it is. I don't care how nice the house is. I don't care how fancy their email signature is. How do you treat the ones you claim to love?
Yeah.
And when I'm not even going to say we. I'm just going to speak about myself because when the time comes, my brother or sister can speak for themselves.
Definitely.
But for me, for a very long time, I've had a complete distorted perception of reality when it comes to family, when it comes to love. That's a big factor. I'm not going to talk about it today, but when it has to do with my kid's dad, that's huge.
Yeah.
With how I thought love and a relationship and a marriage was supposed to be.
Yeah. But it's like you said, going way back, when you don't know, you don't know. So you only know what you've been through, what you experienced.
Exactly.
And I think most of us that if all you know is this, that's the norm. Until somebody shows you something different. And then I can imagine how hard it'd be to even trust something different.
Because we're constantly thinking that we're doing something wrong. I know kids are supposed to have chores. I get it.
Yeah.
Why are we digging holes for your entire irrigation system in the backyard? Why are we cleaning your car to the point we have to sit down for hours to clean every spoke on your car? Why are we being treated like we're doing something wrong? Why are we getting whooped with a paddle for eating school lunch? And then social workers are coming to the school because we're hungry, because we're dirty, because the adults are now speaking up.
At the school.
At the school are reaching out to the social workers or CPS. And they're reaching back out to our aunt and uncle about it. Then being scolded and whooped again after the social worker leaves for
the teachers
reporting what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So we're constantly feeling, let me go back. I'm constantly feeling like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't have answers for why these people are my family. They say they love me and this hurts. Why do they make us feel like we can't be kids? Why are we literally being whooped with belts for playing as kids?
Yeah. And at your auntie and uncle house, was it just y'all or were there other kids?
There were their kids.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So the same thing. They can't do nothing wrong and okay. And you didn't have nobody, I'm assuming that.
Well, no, because even when our mom or dad would call, our aunt was listening to their phone calls.
Oh, so
we didn't.
If you did, you have to deal with whatever happens as soon as the phone hang up. So, and you ain't even close enough to visit. Your family's in Kansas still. How did, again, and it sucks, but how did you and your siblings manage to deal with this all over again? Where y'all was dealing with it, got split up, back together, and dealing with some more BS.
Well, like I said, I'll let them speak for them. So I just know for me, it's hard. It's hard being the big sister and not being able to have any answers.
Yeah.
Not knowing why we're being treated like this yet again.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't matter if it's strangers. It's family. And it just doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that it doesn't make sense, but I have forgiven them. But it's not anything when it comes to these situations that I can forget.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, forgive and forget. No,
that's fake.
For me, for me personally, I've had to accept what they did was the best that they knew with what they knew. Yeah. I don't know, but I do know growing up in the South is different in Alabama.
Yeah.
I know that, again, like I said, I'm a stalwart and I hear it all the time when people are like, oh, this stalwart or this stalwart. No, but if you can introduce me, they're probably my family. I kid you not. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I just don't know. And I think that once I've accepted that I will not be receiving a lot of the answers to these questions, that's okay because I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And how did you get to the point understanding that this wasn't my fault? Because a lot of the kids I worked with, and some of them I still have in contact with, they're older. I actually have one maybe coming in. It might be kind of cool to have you here when she does, if she does.
Absolutely.
But they'll spend their whole life searching for these answers and thinking that they were the problem. Mm-hmm. So how did you manage to not just get the strength, the courage to forgive these people and even say they're doing the best that they could? Like, how did you do that? How did you manage that?
There was multiple instances, but for me, the biggest was, I think it was the second time I was going to leave my kid's dad, and I literally had to look in the mirror. I had to look into the mirror to the point who was looking back at me. I was looking at a stranger. I was unrecognizable, and I broke down, and I thought about my mom, and I thought about my grandma, and at this point, they had passed away already. Yeah. This was in 2014, maybe 2015. Or it could have been before that, but probably in that type of area. Yeah. So I basically felt as if I was losing my mind in order to unlearn and then relearn what I needed to. And I'm still learning every single day about myself. But that's when I realized it wasn't my fault. Yeah. And nobody's coming to save me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no matter what, like, I know God got my back. I know that this does not make sense, but I know that I have to make the step for my kids, because if nobody's coming to save me, what's going to happen to my boys?
Yeah. And you refuse to let them go through that again. True. And first I'm going to say it's dope that you did. And I know you're not going into the boyfriend and all that stuff. But from what I've learned working with kids and stuff, without having you have to go too far, what typically I've seen is if they've been through so much trauma, they get in these relationships with people and they're looking for these people to save them. And a lot of times end up being the total opposite. Because, people are messed up people, so they'll take what you've been through and use it against you. And then you have some who, sad to say, they never get out of that. And then I think some, they get to a point in life, rather it's with a lot of them when they have a kid, it's just something clicks and they get to a point where I refuse. And once they get there, then you start seeing the changes happen. I don't know if that was yours. I'm not going to go into the board.
You're saying with like
in general,
like
with some of the kids I've worked
with, like how I was dating and so forth. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I was looking for that stuff in all the wrong places. It was to a point where I detached myself emotionally, and I was going through a phase trying to find myself, but I was looking in all the wrong places because once again, nobody's coming to save me. And if I'm not...
And you've never seen the right places.
Exactly. So I'm trauma bonding. So I was going out there and I was doing the best I knew how with knowing nothing. Like I knew nothing when it came to relationships.
What I've said to people, you do the best you can with the skill set you have.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if I've ended things with my kid's dad, then I'm about to see what's out there. Yeah. And people, some of the male species, they love that. This damsel in distress. And at that point, I'm putting it on because
it does for them, but not for you all the time.
Exactly. And that's when I realized, okay, this is a downward spiral. And I'm basically responsible for leading them on because now I'm playing with fire. I'm playing with people's feelings and
kind of fibbing with them.
And that's exactly what I was doing. I was fibbing with them. And I was like, okay, this is a joke because this is not who I am. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, but I don't know what it is I'm doing, but I don't need to be doing this. And spending time by myself and being absorbed and being selfish with, okay, I'm trying to figure out who I am, but constantly trying to link up or do this. Like it's
trying to
it was
figure
silly.
it out.
It was trying to figure it out. But again, I had to go through that for me. Everybody goes through their situations different. But again, I was like, all right, we got to go back to reality. Nobody coming to save you, Liana.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to save these kids, Liana.
I think that's something in relationships. It definitely looks different when you're looking at somebody who's been through. We all have our trauma, but certain trauma, especially when you get pulled out the houses and stuff. But unless your first relationship just made it all the way, we've all been kind of silly and, the damsel in distress. Guys play that same game.
And that's kind of what I was seeing. I put myself in a position to where if they tried to hurt me, I was already steps ahead.
Yeah.
Because I'd already detached myself where I'm not going to be emotionally available for you.
You was playing chess while they was playing checkers.
I was doing a whole lot, James.
And the thing is, you just from what you've been through, you're probably way more advanced in that game.
And that's kind of when I was like, okay, I'm not using this experience that I've gained from how I was going through what I was going through to be advantageous. Yeah. I'm using it literally against me.
Yeah. Because
nothing good comes from trying to make somebody else look bad. And I'm setting these situations up and then I'm like playing the victim. Like, girl, what are you doing? You've already... What are you doing? And it was like, again, if you're going to absorb yourself in trauma and, be around drama, that's what's going to follow you. Nothing good comes from that.
Well, I'm going to give you kudos for what you just said, because I'll be seeing social media. You get like 2 out of 100 women say, I'm playing the victim. I think, and then the guys say, da-da-da. It's hard for people to take accountability for their actions.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what you've been through, it would make I would understand more you not want to take that accountability. And the fact that you do it with everything you've been through, where nobody took accountability for how they kind of strip you of who you are and just threw you around. So that shows a different kind of strength.
Thank you. And I didn't want, for what I went through, to be an excuse to hurt other people.
Yeah.
And who's ever seeing this, if I hurt you, I do apologize. I'm growing.
I'm guessing you're a lot of people the way you said that.
No, I mean, it's just like some people I could not even remember their names.
Yeah.
And that's how it is sometimes, because I might hold something against somebody and they don't even know that they did that. Or it could be the same thing, somebody holding something that I did. Yeah. And, but no, it wasn't like a bunch of people, James. No, it wasn't like that. I wasn't here just slaughtering hearts. Oh man!
You just did the damsel in distress.
Oh
and then
my goodness!
Walked away from it.
Because it was like, and then it was kind of like, okay, now I'm playing. Like, it's like.
But I can see in the moment, it's a survival thing. When you're in survival mode, most people move differently than they would if they wasn't.
I would literally tell these male species, let's be nothing. It'll last forever. Like no feelings, just no secrets, just not your business. Like, You can
tell you was good at that game because this whole time you say male species instead of just a male. You can species, you put that on that side. Okay,
because it is, because like not all men are the same. And
True.
when a male species has hurt us, however different ways they have hurt us, we can't hold all of them accountable. That's where you see the bitter woman.
Yeah.
And I am a recovering people pleaser and a recovering bitter woman.
I think the male species and the woman species, I think we all can learn that piece better. Not just in like the relationship in general, because I think we get hurt, even if we set ourselves up for it. And then we kind of tend to want to take it into the next situation, whether it's a friendship or whatever. When something feels similar, it's that triggering thing. So
because it's the same way where like I still remember, I've forgiven, but I still remember that there are elders as a child are still holding things against me as a child, and we see that so much in the Black families. True. A kid does some kid stuff. And this elder, till this day, the kid can be older now. They still hold whatever that kid did against them. It could have been they were angry and they had an outburst, or they were playing too much and something broke and it meant something to you. And then again, as children, we're like, why is our family holding on to all these possessions? Why do they care so much about these things that are replaceable? And we feel so bad.
Yeah.
And then when accidents happen, then you're like, oh, you can hold these reservations because it takes you back. So then we get in relationships, and then sometimes people don't have the ability to communicate, but not just communicate, but comprehend.
Yeah.
And somebody could have said or did something, but you received it differently than they intended, but you don't even have the space to say, hey, can you repeat that? Or that doesn't make sense to me, or this is how it made me feel when you did that. Because of what happened, somebody holding something against you and you feel you did something wrong. True.
And I think that going back, what you said, like the elders will hold something against you. And we know in a lot of the, I can't speak for other culture, but Black culture, we sweep things under the rug. And I think what we don't realize is as you're sweeping things under the rug, so are you sweeping that inner child. The inner child, and you get swept under the rug as well. So even when you're elder and certain things happen and you respond to this kid like a kid, that's basically what's going on, and you hold on to these things, I do believe it's some of that inner child in that person, whether they're 50, 60.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, where when you sweep stuff under the rug,
you have a mountain of debris,
yeah, you're not only sweeping it under the rug, that one thing, you're sweeping in that whole experience.
And then it becomes that, when you are trying to walk on the rug and you can't because you're stepping on something, like something in the floor is uneven or it's a big heap. That's what happens. And that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah. And then eventually it got to come out. And now it's this big ball. And
that's what happens is, for so long you could tell me that, oh, you can't say that or you can't speak about that. So it was appropriate and okay for you to do what you did to me, but you don't want me to speak about it. Yeah. So why did you do what you did to me if you didn't want me to talk about it?
True.
Why did you do it?
Yeah.
But if you didn't do anything wrong, then it should be okay that I talk about it.
Yeah. It's that guilty conscience.
And that's where like, okay, I still hold space for you as far as I have forgiven you, but I'm not forgetting, because I'm like, okay, what happened to you as a child?
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, okay, this is learned behavior. You feel this was okay. You think this was okay. Mm-hmm. So I forgive you. And I do know that can't nobody make nobody do nothing.
Nah.
Nobody can make. So when even knowing like adults telling a kid, like, you made me do this. Wait, what? So you don't have enough self-control.
Yeah.
And you expect this child to have more self-control than you do. And you want them to stay in a child's place. Children are to be seen and not heard. What? That's a distorted perception of reality. That's a lot of people still hold on to that. And there's some elders, they will never unlearn to relearn that behavior. They will not be able to have those conversations, but it is very important that we have these conversations.
Yeah.
We have to.
And I'm one of them ones, I'm always working on that. The child staying in a child's place. Because there's boundaries.
And that's what I say, to an extent. So saying that to the child, it makes them feel they don't have a place, as whereas that you cannot talk to them. But when it comes to adults having certain conversations, no, you need to stay in a child's.
And that's what I'm saying. I tell them, but I try to explain to them why.
Exactly.
I don't just say,
because I said so.
And when I slip, but I go back and be like, this is why. And try to explain it. But I think, like you said, you need to know the why. And you growing up, you didn't get the whys.
Exactly.
You had to move. So now today, I always talk about, mental health, coping skills, things you do for yourself to keep yourself, right. Because with trauma, we all know it can sneak up on you at any time if you're not taking care of yourself. So what do you do to take care of yourself?
When I feel it, because I'll feel it probably like a handful of times a week. It might be like 3 to 4 times a week. I just feel the emotions. And I don't want my kids to see that, because the first thing they will ask, like, is it okay? Because they'll feel they did something wrong. But I try, even if it's in my car or at home, I just have to find a place to cry, to ugly cry. I feel it. Sometimes I don't know why.
An ugly crier?
Oh, I'm an ugly crier. And I'm okay with it. Like, I might look in the mirror at myself, and that's okay, because then I can talk myself through it. And the biggest thing for me is not suppressing these feelings, because they're natural. It's a human experience.
Definitely.
And then I like to write. Or if I go on a walk.
Oh yeah, y'all. She's a poet. I ain't say that part. My bad. I should let you do it, but when you said I got excited, so I had to throw that out.
Thank you, James. Yes. I am a writer. I have been writing since I was a little girl. I didn't know that I was writing something that I could read in front of people and that they would relate to, or they would have an emotion. I learned a new word. It's called emotive. Mm-hmm. So for me to be able to share something that I went through, or words that I was able to put together, and I'm saying, or I have my set, and this person is experiencing this emotive feeling.
Yeah.
Like, that is priceless. And that's really what life is about, is like, we're doing what we never thought was possible, or even that we could share with others, that they would be able to relate to and talk about it. Yeah. And realize that, like, I know that my whatever my purpose is, it's to serve, but it's bigger than whatever it is that I'm going through. And I went through what I went through, so I'm able to share my story, and other people are able to see, okay, you were a teen mom, but you're able to stand up. Like, you need to stand up. Please get up. Please get up. Like, we can't keep having this type of conversation that we all went through something, but it's not a hardship contest.
Yeah.
Oh, I went through this, and then, so we can't. We gotta change the narrative, the conversation.
How do we process, heal, and help the next?
And we're having this conversation. You're like, oh, I want to go back to my kids. And, that's what it's about. Yeah. People to hear, like, okay, we can change this conversation. Or what if I want to have this workshop, or I want to do this? Like, that is what it is about. Yeah. Communication, conversation, actually implementing different type of change, but it starts with the conversation that you're willing to have.
Yeah. You have to, what they say, if you don't reveal, you don't heal.
Nope.
Regardless. And the only way to do that is to have that conversation, open dialogue, and let yourself be vulnerable.
Absolutely. My
mama, which is the hardest thing to do.
Would always say, I get it more and more every day. God don't like ugly. I understand it more, and each and every day I understand it more and more, but God don't like ugly. And she would always say, you treat others how you want to be treated. I'm not saying that there's people that don't do things and it just doesn't make sense. Again, you're not responsible for others' perception of you. People will do people stuff because we live in a world with people. Yeah. But you treat others how you want to be treated. You be the change you wish to see, because we can constantly spew about what people need to be doing.
Yes.
A lot of people have opinions about what other people should be doing. Mm-hmm. It literally starts with you.
Exactly.
It's a domino effect.
We're all flawed.
We are all flawed.
We all fall short. We all sin. And one thing I try to remind myself, and I ain't perfect at it. I ain't gonna pretend like I am.
I'm not perfect either.
But with me, if I go back to the Bible, and the one thing I try to carry with me is, he said, love people the way he loved us. And if I look at that, regardless of what's going on in the world, the world is changing. No matter who it was, the people trying to kill him, the people he helped on the streets, he loved all of them. he didn't judge none of them.
None of them.
And I never get to Jesus' point, of course, because I could be saying I forgive you right now to a person until they say the wrong thing, then it's up. And I'm trying to work on that.
Of course.
But no, we all, and I like that. It's a conversation. This conversation is going to inspire somebody.
And that's
sure.
the point. That's the whole point of having this conversation. I'm grateful. It's my first time on a podcast, and this is my first time being open with other than who's close to me, having this conversation. And I'm grateful. And a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but I really do try to take a moment and look at your fingerprint. You look at your hand. God gave you a fingerprint nobody else got.
Yeah.
So when you feel like, oh my gosh, like this doesn't make sense or nobody gets me, they tell me I'm different. You are.
You are. You're supposed to be.
You literally supposed to be. They may laugh at you because you're different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
I truly don't. And that's the beauty of the print that you make on this world and the impact that you have, that nobody else can do what you can do.
That's what's up. Man, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And, you got your ugly cry. You does.
I do.
But you're writing.
Yes.
And for y'all, haven't heard one of her whole poems, but I have seen her Instagram, and I'm going to have a link on it. I will say, the way you talk versus how you deliver your poetry is two different people. It ain't aggressive. That's the wrong word, but you feel it.
I do.
To the point where if I'm not listening to the words, I can almost get an idea of just how I've heard passionate. Yes.
People have heard my poetry and they say it's like a cathartic experience. I had to go to Google. I was like, what you mean cathartic experience? Yeah, so I'm honored. Like, I'm grateful for that.
It's like you tapping into something deeper. And
that's why I go by my middle name, Natascha. Mm-hmm. So like, we're talking, this is Liana. You're talking to Liana. Yeah. So when I'm in the poetry space, when I'm on a set to do my poetry, when I'm meeting other artists in the poetry space, you're meeting Natascha Lanes.
Yeah.
So Natascha Lanes, that's the middle name my mom gave me. And Lanes is my full initials. Mm-hmm. Liana, Natascha, Ebert Stallworth. Yeah. Live your life in your lanes. You mind your own, you live long. Be you. Everybody else is taken.
That's dope. See, you're a poet. Like, I can write little rhymes and stuff, but I can't come up with lines like that.
Thank you.
Cool. So, anything you want to say before we close out? Well, I got two things. The first one, it's an important one for me to ask you. If you can have a conversation with the younger you, where you at right now, or a kid in the same shoes you were in at between about 8 years old, 9 years old, what would you say to that? To you or that kid?
You did nothing wrong. And I love you. And I'm grateful for you. And you have a purpose. It's bigger than you could even imagine. You can't even wrap your head around it right now. Never stop dreaming. Keep going to school. Make friends. Never let anybody dim your light.
That's what's up. And what do you say, I say, 'cause I'm in the field, to that 15, 16, 17, 18, even 20-year-old who's survived the system and trying to figure it out? What advice do you give them?
It's not your fault. Nothing's wrong with you. They may give you labels. You're not defined by your past. Don't give up. If you feel that you are going through something and you're the only one going through it, you're not. That doesn't minimize what you're going through. But you need to be able to hold space for yourself and don't let one thought ruin your whole entire day. Really wrap your head around that your parents and your family, they're humans. They're flawed. They're not perfect. And the best revenge that you can get on anybody is you exceeding your goals. You taking that piece of paper and that pen, and as cliche as it sounds, you write it down. Write it down what you want to do. find those people that are doing that. Work with everybody that wants the best for you, and the people that have forgotten you, forget them.
That's how you end it. That's that poetry, the inner piece coming out.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me, James.
That was dope.
It was dope. Yes.
It actually helps me going back, working with the kids. It kind of gave me that energy again. You know, in the field, you be high.
Of course.
You have your lows. But this is a good reminder to me and people watching who's in the field why we're doing it.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody watching.
Thank you.
Again, I'm going to have a link because I need to see the difference of the poetry, because then they're going to hear you going, that aggressiveness, and they're going to say, are you the two same people?
No, it's two different people. That's the beautiful thing when you get to like be who you are.
Yeah.
You get to tap into those other parts of you where...
And comfortable being who you are.
Exactly. And that's also, please be yourself so your people can find you.
Yes. And we're going to end it on that, because you're going to need too many bars with me and I'm going to be embarrassed. So it's been Truth in the Trenches.
Yes.
It's your boy, James.
Liana, a.k.a. Natascha Lanes.
AKA Listen to Her Poetry.
Thank you.
And y'all have a good night.